What's up, dudes? HW here. You guys, I said a couple videos back that if you thought, hey, oh, HW, you're full of it. You're full of it. You keep getting all these cheap guitars. Keep saying, you guys, they're so good, they're so good, they're so good, they're so good. I told you, if you didn't see them on the channel repeatedly, how many times have I been playing this thing? This thing is awesome. You know why this thing is awesome? Beautiful afternoon here in Nashville, just playing the guitar in the sunlight. That is the stuff life's made of, man. It's stuff. That's the stuff life is made of, man. Good guitar tone, trees, the sunlight, hanging out, man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I told you if you didn't see this in my hands that you should call me out on it. So far, I ain't seen nobody call me out because I've been playing this thing all the time. And the reason is not just because of how it looks. It is a decent looking guitar. I'm going to change this pickguard to black, but because this guitar in my head is the $300 version. The $300 version of this guitar. Yo, you know what I'm saying? That's a good guitar, man. That's a good guitar, too. This is one of the first Suhrs I ever got. And this is before Suhr even made standard models. And I was like, oh my word. Bought it on in a parking lot via Craigslist. We used to do that a lot. Just tuned it up, so forgive me if it goes out of tune a little bit while I talk to y'all, but this guitar to me is the desert island guitar. It's the one where I go, if you had to have one, now it's not the one I'd save if the house was on fire. That would be my children probably. But after I got them out, what would I grab? Like an old Marshall's, probably worth the most money. The Trini Lopez is worth the most, and then like some old Marshalls, probably worth the most. But in terms of if you had to be on a desert island with just one guitar, you had to make it work. You had to make it work on a Friday night, on a Sunday night, on any night. And you got these two guitars, these two Git fiddles right here. They look alike. They kind of sound alike. Let's run through the pickups. If I'm talking about a desert island guitar, I'm talking about this probably the type of guitar I'm going to grab. You know what I'm saying? Now this one, roasted neck. Wilkinson pups. Wilkinson bridge. This one, Godo bridge. Suhr pups. Uh, this one, Grover Tuners. Mine has Spurzle, but they put, I think, locking Grovers, and I think Suhr's making their own hardware now. That's what I saw at NAMM. I think they did away with all the Godo stuff last year, and they basically just they're making their own, like, almost like Godo spec looking stuff. But G2 tuners from China, but they're Grovers. This one's got a speed neck and a roasted neck. This one has a non-roasted neck, no speed neck. This one is probably the equivalent of a new $3,000 Suhr. This one is, of course, about $300. This one has a ridiculous Pearloy pickguard. No idea why. I asked them at NAMM. They didn't really seem to know either. But I'm going to change this one to black. But let's test these out. Let's go with the Suhr first. Let's try the pickups. Okay, I want to tell you about my experience playing these guitars. You can hear them, but when you do comparisons like this, it's really more about comparing the pickups in a lot of ways when you're just listening, because the player can feel it. They can feel the sort of the give of the strings, the pull of the strings, the feel of the trem and everything. You can hear the intonation, you can hear the tone, but there's a lot of guitar that's just really more tactile, right? I compared this $300 Fesley earlier to a custom shop gold Strat that I call Goldie, and Goldie has something really romantic and special about it. It's a custom shop instrument. It's a 59 spec. I'm not gonna. I'm as a player and stuff. I might have a collection here, but I'm not going to go pay a bunch of premium to get a 59 Strat. I don't think they're way better than everything else ever made or something like that. So you kind of, on these vintage instruments, you got to pay like the museum, the collector premium. I have no really interest in doing that just to own a real 59. So to me, a custom shop to like 59 spec, and kind of relic a bit, it's close enough, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, this is like my vintagey feeling thing, and it sounds great, I love it. That guitar has a particular appeal. These guitars are trying to be workhorse instruments. And I think that's something really interesting about them, because rather than being like, oh, one's a Fender, so that has cachet, or one's a custom shop or vintage, and that has cachet, both of these guitars are just made for players. Suhr is a brand that has just been loved by players. Why? They are made incredibly well. John Suhr ran the Fender Custom Shop for many years, and then he went and started his own thing. For years, I was saying these Suhrs are incredible values when they were cheaper, because they were basically, I noticed they were team-built Fender Custom Shops, basically, with a more modern, player-friendly spec, but they looked vintage, which spoke to me. I love the vintage aesthetic. I'm not often looking for something super modern. I don't mind straying a bit from the vintage aesthetic, thus the humbucker and stuff and the, whatever. I prefer kind of more classic-y looking stuff, but I'm not against changes. And Suhr gave you that wonderful, 9 to 12 neck radius, some of the best pickups in the business. A Goto 510 on this model that just holds tune forever. All my Suhrs just hold tune so incredibly well. And a while back, Suhr released these import guitars called Erasmus guitars, and they were made overseas, and then Suhr was going to do like some fretwork touch-up in here. From what I understand, I have one of those guitars. From what I understand, those were discontinued because Suhr had to do too much work to get it up to their spec. If you said to me, what's the closest thing to a Chinese Suhr, I'd say it's this guitar right here. These two feel like they're from the same idea, if that makes sense. A kind of a vintage look, but modern, playability, modern stuff. The reason I say that, obviously, aesthetically, it's a classic kind of look, but they went with the zebra pickups. They went with this perloid guard that I don't love, but they roasted the neck. They put the speed heel on it. They got the Grover tuners. This feels like Fesley looked at what all companies like this were doing and was like, we can do that, right? Now, they had a cheaper model out at first that was like in the 200 or 250 range. These new ones are in the 329 range, and talking to them at NAMM, a lot of that cost increase came as a result of putting Wilkinson pickups and a Wilkinson bridge on here. Now, full disclosure, they gave me this guitar, and I made a video about it. I'm not sure if I need to forever, every time you see this on camera, disclose that they gave me the guitar. They gave me the guitar in exchange for doing a video. I received no other compensation other than this guitar. So if it was shit, it wouldn't be worth very much to me. But I did get the guitar, and like I'm saying, it's worth about, you can get it with a coupon for like $289 on Amazon, delivered to your house. That's where I got it. This is a better guitar. I'm not sure it's 10 times better. I know that gets said in every video. Now, these pickups are incredible. They sound incredible. These sound like a little ceramic-y, but honestly, I kind of like the bridge pickup in this guitar better. I think this sounds really refined and produced and like perfect. And I haven't always said that about this guitar. In my opinion, this guitar's a little darker than some other Strats, but that's okay because the pickups are all balanced here. In this one, the pickups are a little less balanced, but sort of in a way I like. This one, the humbucker compared to these pickups feels right where it should be, like really dialed in. So they said you'll have the same volume all over. And that's one of the things I love about Suhr guitars. Their singles and their humbuckers really balance super well. A lot of times that doesn't happen. In this pickup set, I would say it might be a little less, quote unquote, balanced, but I actually feel like it makes that humbucker feel more aggressive, and a lot of times that's what I'm looking for. I feel like this guitar the pickups are balanced, but there's a larger exaggeration of how much more gain and output this gets. Not in a way that it bothers me, but in a way I just think of this pickup in my head as sounding pretty like, just pretty like rock, pretty aggressive. Not in a way, it's not so rocky that I feel like it doesn't match these pickups. It's a little more aggressive than this. This is a little smoother, more refined. This feels like you could plug into a Dumble and be really happy with it. You know what I'm saying? And and maybe you're a community college teacher or a lawyer or something like that, and you know all your scales and modes. And this feels like you know a Foo Fighters song and a Blink-182 tune, and you play it really loud on your, maybe that Marshall Mini that you saved up for. But you are about to rock. And now that's how the pickup sounds to me. I could play this guitar on any of the gigs that I'm doing right now. I may, think like, oh, I don't necessarily, these aren't my two favorite single coils, but all together at this price, I think it's absolutely stellar. The feel of this neck compared to that one is really, I can't say one's better. I have played a couple other Fesleys that had sharp frets. This particular one did not. And so, and the Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a really comfortable guitar to play, actually. Like, not even like for the money. It's just a comfortable guitar to play. And it really, I feel like the biggest thing about this, and maybe other people, I know some other people have bought Fesley after watching these videos. They're not sending me, more money or something. I haven't gotten any money from them. I just got this guitar, like I said, and they sent me a Telly one. I did a video on that. It's really just that I find myself playing this thing more and more and more. And, I don't even think of these pickups as sounding cheaper. To me, they sound good. They just sound different. And so in my head, this guitar has a particular voice. And honestly, the way the trem feels. It just leaves me as a player feeling very confident, if that makes sense. I'm not afraid to sort of do whatever I hear in my head or want to do with the bar and stuff, I'm not afraid to sort of, sometimes on guitars you're afraid to give it like, now any guitar with a floating trem is going to be out of tune when you bend that note and then, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I don't know what else, I really don't know what else someone could expect for $300. And that's why I really keep coming back to this thing. And it's funny, I've handed this guitar to a couple people. And I've said, how much would you guess that guitar is? I've had a lot of people say $600. I've had a lot of people say $300. And I can't figure out, everyone knows that I'm saying it's a great value before I hand it to them. And so I don't know how much of it is people with their eyes going, oh, it's like a brand I never heard of, $300, 400 bucks. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. To me, I'm like, I don't know how you can't be kind of blown away by this thing. I really don't. This one's the better guitar in a way that like a BMW like M6 would be a better car than a lot of other things. Like, of course it is. You know what I'm saying? Um, but this feels like you got a brand new EV, and for whatever reason, the government's giving you like 12 grand off plus some incentive plus this and this. And you're kind of just like, I've looked at what I could get in a gas car for the same money, and it just makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I don't know. I know some people that got like after the incentive on the like a Model Y and stuff, they're just like, how could this is cheaper than I'm like, that like it's cheaper than I'm paying for like insurance on my gas car. I could get this lease. It kind of feels like that. It's almost like, why is this price? And it's just like, oh well, there's an incentive, and there's a the the money back, the government. I don't know what the hell they call it, but anyway, it's one of those things where it's like, oh okay, there's like other factors coming into play here. But yeah, man, I find myself playing this as much as any other guitar right now in the house. So